Welcome to Speakeasy Spirits. Today we're going to answer 3 burning questions. 1, why am I dressed like a death metal mariachi? 2, what's the deal with the tiny limes? And 3, what's the most ordered cocktail in America? The answers are, 1, I was trying to look like a mariachi, and this is the best that I could find in my closet. 2, the tiny limes are key limes. I've never had them in a cocktail, but we're going to try it out today because today's cocktail is very lime forward. And the answer to number 3, the most popular cocktail ordered in America is the margarita. This is probably because most Mexican restaurants have anywhere from 3 to 5 margaritas on their menu, and you just can't eat tacos without a margarita. Unfortunately, a large number of those margaritas, whether they're made in bars, restaurants, or at home, are made with margarita mix and not fresh ingredients. So today we're going to try the mixes, we're going to compare it to the real thing, and see how it comes out. And then we're going to try to elevate the margarita into a true craft cocktail. We're going to make both of these side by side using the same tequila so that the only variable is the lime juice or the margarita mix. For a fresh margarita, we're going to start with 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, 1.5 ounces of tequila. We're using this Espolón. It's a silver tequila. You're going to find this in most liquor stores, bars. It's almost as common as Jose Cuervo nowadays. And an ounce of triple sec. I'm using this Patron triple sec. And that's it. 3 simple ingredients. We're going to follow the instructions on the mix to the letter. So this calls first for 4.5 ounces of mix. One and a half ounces of tequila. And that's it. So let's shake them over ice. In my opinion, the salt is optional on a margarita. We're going to skip it on this one, and we'll pour our cocktails over ice in a rocks glass. And there we have the battle of 2 margaritas. So despite having 4.5 ounces of mix, this one is very bland, very watered down. Here the flavors are much stronger. The triple sec comes through strong, so you're getting an orange note in there. The tartness of the lime comes through in the front. You can clearly taste the flavors of the tequila. There's that agave grassy note to it that's kind of hidden with the mix. It's so simple and quick to make a fresh margarita. I say skip the mix, make them at home. But how can we elevate this up to the next level? There's 3 different kinds of tequila. You've got silver tequila. This is typically unaged or maybe aged up to 2 months. This is going to have that sharp bite that a lot of people are familiar with. This stands up really good in a blended margarita. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got añejo tequila. This is typically aged about 2 years. In the middle, you've got reposado. It's not quite as rounded off as the añejo, but it's not as sharp as the silver tequila. This is typically the one I reach for when I'm making tequila drinks. Let's start with 3/4 of an ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice and 3/4 of an ounce of orange liqueur. You could use a good triple sec. In this case, I'm going to use an orange curacao. And 1.5 ounces of reposado tequila. Now, my cork broke off when I opened this, so we are going to run this through a fine mesh strainer first and get rid of any cork parts that are in there. Now we need to add about 1/6 of an ounce or about 1 bar spoon of simple syrup. That'll provide just a little extra sweetness. And for this one, let's do a salt rim. So you want to take a wedge of lime and run it around the outside edge of the glass. A lot of times you'll see those round salt containers and people just sticking the whole glass down in there. You do not want to do that. You're going to get salt inside the glass as well as out, and then you're going to have a salty cocktail inside. So what you want to do is slowly roll the outside edge of the glass in your salt. I always like to leave one area without any salt. All right, let's give that a shake. And there you have the traditional Cadillac Margarita. The reposado tequila rounds out all of the sharp edges that the first two had. That's helped by the orange curacao, which is based on an aged brandy instead of the neutral grain spirit that triple sec is made with. It's got all that tartness and acidity you expect in a margarita. Out at a restaurant, this would probably be my choice for a margarita, but here at home, I think we can do better. So I'm just making this recipe up as we go along. I've never tried this before, but let's cut up some key limes and get about 3/4 of an ounce of key lime juice. So 3/4 of an ounce of key lime juice is about 6 or 7 key limes. Once again, we'll use our orange curacao. We're going to go a full ounce this time. And we'll use our añejo tequila. Let's do 1.5 ounces of that. And instead of a salt rim, we're going to take some saline solution. This is just some salt dissolved in water. And we're just going to add a couple of drops of that. That will give us the salinity of the salt rim without actually having a salt rim. And we're going to serve that up. That means without ice in a coupe. And let's garnish with a little tiny key lime wheel. I think this still needs a little something extra to make it really special. So we're going to get some mezcal and just add 1 bar spoon of that to the top. And there you have our key lime speakeasy margarita. The key limes are definitely a lot more tart than a normal lime. I think it needs a little additional sweetness. So let's up that by another 1/4 ounce of orange curacao. The extra sweetness definitely improved it. If you're making this at home, you'll want to use 1.25 ounces to 1.5 ounces of the orange curacao or triple sec. There's just a hint of smokiness from the mezcal. You've got the grassy notes of the agave and the tequila. This is definitely not your average restaurant margarita. It's probably not the kind of thing you want to pound on Cinco de Mayo, but it is a good classic cocktail. A little dry, a little tart, hint of sweetness, and then the smoke to round it all out. One last margarita tip. You could take any of these recipes, swap out the orange liqueur for a different fruit liqueur. If somebody wants a fruity margarita, I'll often make them one with this Chinola passion fruit liqueur. It still has a lot of tartness to it. It's not overly sweet. It works really well in a margarita. You could easily swap out the orange liqueur for mango, pineapple, any fruit liqueur you have. That's our quick look at the margarita. I hope you liked the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.